All right, we're into it. Shawn Mayo is about to give us an amazing intro.
TeeChip sucks. Let's do it.
Okay, so guys, every week Shawn Mayo and I come to you and we bring you a brand new pod to go through and see what it looks like and see how much traffic there is and see what are the advantages and the disadvantages and if there's any tips or tricks that you can look for or hidden secrets, things like affiliate programs or bonuses or extra ways to get income or secret hidden categories, menu options, coupons, upsells, multiple stores, different kinds of products. There's all kinds of different things. Each one of these pods has little nuances, and they're really small, but they can make a big difference when you're selling across multiple platforms. So when you have multiple platforms, you have options to sell things that you may not be able to sell all of those features on one platform, but using multiple platforms, you get options that far exceed any single platform, which is kind of interesting. He also, and Shawn's mentioned this before, some people just prefer to shop at certain platforms. And so you're going to reach a different audience. Sometimes, quite often, there's going to be overlap between the pods, but a lot of the pods have unique audiences that they reach out to, both through marketing that they do themselves, then some of them market your designs for you, and then you have your own marketing, and then you have organic traffic. So there's really, that's 4 different ways that you can reach people. And some of the pods do it differently than other pods. So we like to cover as much of that kind of information as we can on these weekly calls. The calls are usually at 8 p.m. on Wednesdays, Eastern Standard Time. And that's the first 5 minutes. So it's 8:05. People have had some time to come on. This week we're going to be doing TeeChip. To review in the past, if you haven't seen the other shows, we've already done Redbubble, we've done Zazzle, we've done Rage On, we have done Merch by Amazon, of course. That was an exciting one. We've done Gear Bubble, Designed by Humans, TeePublic. We have done Sunfrog already. We have done Society 6. We have done Gear Bubble. I think I mentioned Gear Bubble. We've done Rage On. Rage On was pretty exciting. We did Spreadshirt. Anything that I'm missing there, Shawn?
I don't think so.
They just keep adding up. I think this is our 12th platform. So there's like more than 30 hours of information about all these platforms out there. So you can definitely go and watch the replays. Shawn's got them on the website. Shawn, you want to put a link to your website in the chat?
Yep.
And also, there's a Facebook group that Shawn Mayo has. I've got a different one. So Shawn, you could probably mention your Facebook group and the fastest way to get there.
I could totally do that. Yeah, I'll go ahead and post the link right there in the chat, and you guys can go check it out, join. Okay. Yep.
So I think it's Mastering the Pod with Shawn Mayo is the group.
Yep, there's that one, and then of course there is a very complicated one that Jacob usually can't even name. What's the name of your group?
It's Merch by Amazon for top sellers, newbies, and pros.
Okay. That was almost right, so we'll go with that.
Yeah. And that's where I put up information about different pods, mostly Merch by Amazon because that's primarily the one that most people are interested in. It has, generally speaking, the most buyer activity per design ratio in general. Although for the month of July, Redbubble exceeded my Merch by Amazon sales, which surprised me. So I don't know if other people find that sometimes other pods sell more than Merch by Amazon, but certainly that was the case for me. Anyways, so this week we're talking about TeeChip. And TeeChip is the most controversial pod by far that we've ever covered. All the other ones, there has been limited controversy. Some people are complaining about shipping times with Gear Bubble, but I think Gear Bubble is a solid platform. I've had good feedback from it. I've talked to sellers on it. I've seen forums on it. I don't think it's really problematic. I think it's probably like an isolated incident. I know that I ordered a mug from Sunfrog and it came broken, But again, I think that's an isolated thing. Some of the ceramic mugs break when they're shipping internationally. It's known to happen. They offer free replacement when that happens. So I don't think that's really a systemic issue. But TeeChip, Shawn, TeeChip has got some major PR issues, some public relation issues. Have you seen this?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you just Google TeeChip and you get pages and pages and pages of people complaining about it. You know, some people, most of them are buyers, and they're saying, you know, I didn't receive my order on time. It was late. Or I received my order, but I got the wrong thing. If you go on YouTube, you'll find people getting, like, they'll order a poster and they'll get a different poster. So it's a little bit
lots of stuff printed on wrong sizes,
yeah.
charged. You know, I mean, there's a ton of that. I mean, it's not like super recent. I mean, there's some recent stuff, and you know, there's going to be people who complain about, you know, about everything. You know, every big brand. You know, you're going to get a certain percentage of things that just, you know, that just aren't right, or you know, people are complaining about.
Yeah.
So, you know, it goes. Of course, TeeChip is quite a bit higher than most, but I think they're, you know, trying to get their stuff together. I think the issue is they've just been growing so, you know, quickly over time. They probably couldn't keep up with the demand.
Yeah, and that happens. We've seen that with other platforms. I know Gear Bubble had some growing issues when it started. A few of the other pods, we didn't really touch on it too much during the calls, but some of the other ones grew really fast. Like Sunfrog, I think, is one of the fastest growing print-on-demand platforms ever. It's only 3 or 4 years old, and it's ranking like right behind Amazon and Etsy in terms of traffic to the website based on the site that we check every week, Alexa.
Right.
So with that full disclosure at the front of our call, TeeChip still remains a very interesting print-on-demand platform. But before we get into why it's interesting and the things that you will notice about it, there's things that are hidden in TeeChip that you do not realize until you really start digging and looking in the facts and looking in the, they've got like a Mastermind section. We're going to touch on that. We're going to talk on different products that they have, different options that they have that are unique to other products. Some of the seller options they have, some of the analytics and tracking. It's just very different. It's a different kind of pod. It has a lot of commonalities, of course, but it is also got a lot of differences. So before we get into those specifics, let's take a look at the traffic. How much traffic is going to TeeChip versus every other website in the world? Something that we do on every call, every week. We go to the pods and we find out what is its ranking worldwide. And up until last week, we were just going to the free Alexa.com and checking out what you can see publicly. It'll give you a ranking based on the worldwide and also the top 1 country. But Shawn Mayo, you should still subscribe to the super advanced version of that?
Of course I am.
All right. Shawn Mayo remains a subscriber to the super advanced version of Alexa. So we're going to flip over to his screen. We're going to take a look at the stats on TeeChip.com, and we will find that at the moment it's ranked 13,500. If we look at some of the other pods that we've done, a lot of them, I think the top ranking ones are like 3,000, 1,300, 10,000, 5,000. So at the moment, it's a little bit low, but you can see that, can you mouse over between January, February, March, around February, March? Because with the super advanced version, Shawn can actually see the spikes here. So in February, it was under 6,000. Which puts it in a pretty competitive print-on-demand platform. It's certainly getting a lot of traffic to the site, and there's enough complaints about the site that people are definitely using it and buying it, although I'm not sure that you want to know that there's complaints about a pod, but it's better to know that in advance. If we look at the the total unique visitors from the United States alone, we're talking about almost 800,000. That's monthly, right? In the past 30 days?
Yeah, and something to note about TeeChip is they only get 34% of their visitors from the U.S., so they have a big, you know, international following.
Yeah, and so often we'll mention some of the differences between Merch by Amazon and some of these other pods because so many people on Merch by Amazon, and most of the viewers are going to find out about this and see this online, are already part of Merch by Amazon or are in the midst of getting there. TeeChip is one of those pods, like literally 100% of them except for Merch by Amazon, that ships worldwide. And Fanprint. Fanprint only does Canada and the US. But TeeChip ships worldwide, and they only charge $5.99 in additional shipping costs. That's pretty reasonable for international shipping. So that could be the reason that they're getting a lot of sales outside of the US, is that they're only charging a little bit extra for that. You can see the breakdown. US is the top, Germany, United Kingdom. These are countries that we see all the time in the different pods. Usually Canada is a little bit higher there, and occasionally you'll see Australia way up in the top, although looks like Vietnam, Italy, and France are outranking both Canada and Australia, interestingly enough. Brazil, you don't see very often. So it's nice to see a South American country up there. United Kingdom, Germany, and US are definitely always in the top area. They seem to, I don't know, maybe they just like print-on-demand clothing the most. I'm not sure the reasoning as to why they're always so high. Let's take a look at what else we can see here. Time on this site's almost just under 5 minutes. So it's 4 minutes and 4 seconds. Do you remember what it was on the last one that we did, Shawn?
No.
Because these are some new stats that we haven't seen on the other ones before. The keywords that people are finding, typing in to get there: TeeChip, TeeChip, TeeChip.com, TeeChip Pro, and queens are born in May. That's a little golden nugget. Queens are born in May. Can we click on a few more keywords for TeeChip and we see what other things people are driving traffic to the site? If you're not familiar with print on demand, queens are born in, fill in the month, is a really popular thing. I've got a queens are born in February, and I'm making sales all year long for a February t-shirt. So sometimes you can get some interesting information by seeing what kind of keywords people are using to get to the site. TeeChip posters, TeeChip customer service. Yeah, TeeChip does have an issue with their customer service that I think they need to address over time. TeeChip shirts, t-shirt mugs. What else do we have there? Let me scroll down. TeeChip corn. Oh, TeeChip com. TeeChip campaign. TeeChip refund. Queens are born in April. All right, so the queens are born. Apparently you're using TeeChip a lot. TeeChip.com, TeeChip.com CA, TeeChip orders, TeeChip return policy.
No, 1 second.
Organic traffic.
This is for Queens are born in May.
Oh,
so
okay,
you can
there you
see 49% of all the searches are actually going to Amazon.
That is a feature that's not available in the free version. That's amazing.
Yeah, so we can look at any of the top searches at this site. We're using Alexa a lot for targeted ads, for all kinds of different, there's so many features in Alexa, it's ridiculous.
How much does that cost for that version?
It's $150 a month.
Okay. I could see that pay for itself pretty quick if you're getting that kind of, I didn't realize you could put in a keyword and it tells you what site they're going to.
Right, so you can just click on any of these keywords and we can pull that up in a new window and it's going to show all the sites that it's on. So, and we can see that, you know, as people looking for these shirts, they're all t-shirt sites. And TeeChip is, I mean, it's well behind Amazon, but it's
outranking all the other sites.
Right. So Teespring, Redbubble, TeePublic, you know, Spreadshirt, Pinterest. So, you know, if you know, this is a good example of where you could go to Amazon and, you know, see people are searching for this on other sites, but that don't mean they're finding it. So you could find, you know, you could be researching your own shirts and, you know, see what pods people are looking for them on. So, you know, if you have a shirt like this and you see Amazon's a top site, but then, you know, people are looking on TeeChip and Teespring and Redbubble, you know, even though these are, you know, a portion of a percent, this is still amounting for a ton of, you know, a ton of searches, you know. So, if this doesn't exist on some of these other sites, you may want to go there and upload your designs to those sites, for a specific keyword.
What about the paid traffic? I wonder if it would drop on the paid traffic, because I don't think TeeChip is one that does paid advertising on your behalf. It's not one that I've seen do that.
Okay, here we go.
So Sunfrog, Teespring, Teazilly, yeah. So maybe the reason why it was outranking is because those other websites are not, they are advertising, whereas TeeChip doesn't send ads to your traffic. So on that particular word, Sunfrog's putting in advertising. Teespring, they do advertising. Teazilly, Spreadshirt, they do put in advertising dollars for that. So
right, and here's Amazon India again, and people were looking for TeeChip India over on this page.
Yeah.
See, somewhere. So that's, and I'm not sure, you may be able to do this on the free version, just put in searches.
I don't think you can.
I don't know if you can do the share of voice or not.
No.
But okay, well, break down the money then. This, you can put any site in. It's going to give you a breakdown of all the keywords where like this, but you can put in like your own site if you're building a blog or whatever kind of site you have. And it's going to break down what your competition is doing compared to yours. There's just so much stuff. So they got so much data. It's ridiculous. So,
I agree. All right. So let's go back to the regular results here for Alexa for TeeChip, because we do want to show some people similar sites to TeeChip. Of course, it's a print on demand, so you're going to expect that it's getting print on demand traffic. It's getting it from Facebook, from Google, from YouTube. That's something you would expect because TeeChip doesn't pay for advertising. So it's a platform where you're probably going to have to market to it in order to get traffic. I'm on 17 different print-on-demand platforms right now, and I typically do all organic, and I have very few sales on TeeChip.com compared to the other platforms. In fact, it's the lowest. It's terrible. So even though it's getting lots of traffic, that traffic is marketed traffic. So you're going to see other sites that notably have a lot of marketed traffic would be FanPrint, although FanPrint's had some issues recently. And Sunfrog does a lot of marketed traffic, although it seems to knock it out of the park, and it just grows because of it. It just continues to grow. It's amazing. And then downstream is where do people go after visiting TeeChip? That's interesting. Facebook, Google, YouTube, Google, PayPal, DHL. Okay, so that's probably the shipping company that they're using to ship out, DHL.
Yeah, for international, that's really the top thing to use. They don't have sites linked to them, only 183. That's not a whole lot.
Snopes is one of the top linking sites to TeeChip. That's a scam website. So
yeah, well, they're talking about a Kid Rock. I looked at that already. They're talking about a Kid Rock shirt that it was just a design that was put over it, but it wasn't a very nice shirt. So they that's fake. But it was nice that they did link to a bunch of TeeChip things for affiliate links, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And GQ.
So I'm gonna put this out there because there's some advantages to TeeChip and there's some disadvantages to TeeChip. So we'll go to the disadvantages first, things that people do not like about TeeChip as much. The timing, shipping timing, there's been complaints about that. As Shawn mentioned, some sizing, wrong sizing, getting the wrong designs. And one of the things that comes up is stolen designs. A lot of people claim that sellers on TeeChip are stealing other people's designs and then posting them on TeeChip. For sites that get a lot of traffic from marketing, that seems to be a common problem. And I'm not sure how it's addressed. It's a problem even on Merch by Amazon where people steal designs and things, but they seem to be very strict about cutting them out when they find them. And of course, it's part of the policy says you have to own the design. So it's a problem amongst all of the different platforms, but TeeChip, as we had that warning at the beginning, it's notably stands out. Before we go into the related sites here, some of the advantages, and we're going to get into this right after Alexa, is they do have really good products. The quality of their products seem to be fairly good. They have huge margins, so they have really low base pricing. And then they have some interesting features like sub-accounts and coupons and upselling and other things. We'll get to that in a second. So sites that are related to TeeChip, you got Tzilly, TChap. TChap I'm not familiar with. Sunfrog, Gear Bubble, Teespring, Viral Spiral, Tgrass, Tspy, iFrog Tees, Represent. Represent's a good pod. We should do that in the future sometime. By the way, next week, you got that message I sent you earlier, Shawn, about next week?
Yeah, it's already posted. So we'll post a link in a little bit to next week's pod show, which is what?
Cafe Press.
That's the one.
Cafe Press is one of the old school giant pods of the past that is still around. It's got lots of stuff on it. It's very similar to Zazzle. So when we get to it, it's going to be an adventure.
So yeah, look at Represent. I mean, it's really been shooting up lately. It went from over 50,000 to 26,000 in the last month. It's actually up more than the rank is right now. So
yeah, it's
really
shot up a lot. And it's very big in Represent, I believe, is quite large in Europe. In the UK.
And it's still ranked 5,000, in the US. So
yeah.
It's getting a ton of views. Yeah. Okay. So,
interesting.
Yeah. But this one is like, I don't know.
TChap must be a misspelling or something. Like, that doesn't even make sense.
I don't know. Yeah, it's ranked 2.3 million. So, I mean, it's basically visitors from Bangladesh, and that's it. They can't even guess how many things, but top search and yeah, okay. So we're gonna move on to where do visitors go? 1% go to the Mastermind.
That pro-tchip.com, that's interesting. There was a TeeChip Pro, and then it disappeared. So pro.tchip.com, that's interesting. I don't know if somebody had a different site and they sued them and they brought them back or what happened there, but TeeChip Pro looked awesome for like about a month or so, and then it disappeared. And now there's a pro.tchip.com, which I wonder if they took it over or not. Yeah, TeeChip Pro, that looks like TeeChip. So that was really fantastic when it was up as teechippro.com, and then it disappeared to that URL. Looks like they just changed the URL and they put it forward on the old one.
Yeah.
Strange. Okay, so the demographics. Shawn, you want to talk about some demographics?
Yeah, well, they're way over on males as far as the gender, which is really good. But what you don't usually see is the age. The age is a little strange. It's kind of even all the way across the board.
That is strange.
So, you have, 65 and up equal to, 18 to 24-year-olds, which you really never see, for shirt sites. Usually it's really catered to one demographic or another that may have, bleeding over. But here it's basically even all the way across the board. Mostly people don't have children. They're educated, which means they're, if you have a college degree, you're probably making a little more money, so you're going to be spending more. So, the more it's just on a sliding scale. So, people who are buying on Amazon or some of the other pods might want cheaper stuff. Here, it looks like they're going to be willing to spend a little bit more money to get what they want. And
this is quite different than Designed by Humans, which is what we did last week, right?
And most people are working from home. So, and a lot of, I would assume people from Africa, because there's African American and the African is just completely maxed out. I don't think I've seen that for the ethnicity on any site I've ever looked at. Any ethnicity to be like completely maxed out there.
Yeah, Hispanic is usually high. We've seen that before.
Yeah, definitely. And most sites, have a high Hispanic. I'm not sure where they get the ethnicities. I mean, there's not like a lot of questions about ethnicity, on sites. So, you know, I would think this would be the hardest demographic to really figure out. But,
I mean, any demographics. How would you know somebody's demographic by their web traffic? But who knows? Alexa has their algorithms. They seem to be pretty good at it. They do supply the data for Amazon.com. It's an Amazon.com company, so we're going to trust them on it. All right, so let's move over to the site itself. We'll show you just kind of the front of it. I'm going to open an account for Tara. So I'm going to grab her. She'll open her account. We'll see how quickly or slowly it takes to open an account. I'll say up front, there's no cost. Okay, so TeeChip doesn't charge you money like we've seen with Society 6 charges you $1 to open up an account. And they don't have a review process to open an account like Designed by Humans has a review process where you got to submit a portfolio. They don't have that either. But let's get over there. I've got to share my screen. All right, so this is the TeeChip website. It's TeeChip.com if you haven't seen it before. When you're not logged in, it can show you your recently viewed campaigns, which is kind of interesting. So you can click on all these different things, like click on profits and you're not logged in. Oh, look at that. It takes you to it. So I'm going to log out. I guess it went to auto login for some reason, which I didn't expect it to do that. All right. So when you're not logged in, it still shows you your recently viewed campaign. So it's got cookies on the site. It tells you shirts, cases, mugs, and posters. There's a lot of variety in shirts, and we'll go through that. They have fast turnarounds. That's true. They do have fast turnarounds when they meet their turnarounds, and they do have live status. So as a buyer, you can actually see the status of your order. Although most of the complaints that I've seen are that they're not a fast turnaround, so maybe there's a mismatch between the expectation and the result. Although the more you advertise something, if you don't deliver on it, you're going to get a lot more pushback. So it could be just that they've advertised it really well. Low base costs, so that's absolutely true. They have super low costs, low shipping prices. They allow you through TeeChip VIP to get email contact lists for your customers. So you can actually see the email addresses on a .csv file for your people that are buying your shirt. They do allow sub accounts, so you can have other people uploading your accounts, especially good for virtual assistants or other people that you want to have access to your account. And not only is it a full account, it gives you access for different portions. So we can go through that, but they give you toggles for modifying campaigns, downloading the emails, starting and stopping campaigns. So it is a campaign-based site, just like Teespring is also campaign-based. You can view sales stats, so you can either give them access or not access to that on the sub accounts, and you can add and modify coupons. Speaking of which, they have coupons. So if you want to put a coupon code that any of your buyers can attach to any of your listings, they'll get a discount. It can be either by a percentage or it can be a dollar amount. And the coupon could also include free shipping. So if you want to have a coupon code that gives them free shipping or a discounted dollar amount or a percentage, those are the options. And you can have those coupon codes run continuously forever, or you can have specific time periods. We'll show you how to do that after we open up Tara's account. Peripheral analytics tools, I would agree with them here. They give you access to Facebook pixel IDs. They give you access to Perfect Audience, which is a separate service for tracking audiences. Google Analytics, which you'll see on most of the pods now, and Facebook custom audience pixel IDs. So Facebook has an old pixel ID system and a new one. TeeChip handles both of them. So if you set up an old Facebook pixel in the past, it'll work, and the new ones also work. Multiple level upsells. So not all of the pods have upsells, but TeeChip does. Basically, you buy something, and if you buy that item, you can get upsold another item, basically giving you a discount on the other item if you buy it with the first item. So it's selling you, it encourages larger basket of orders. So if somebody's getting one shirt, instead of getting one shirt, maybe they'll get 2 or 3. And no minimums. So you don't have to have a minimum number of buys in the campaign for it to ship or produce the shirts. So you can have a campaign for one day, and you can have one shirt made and they will ship out one shirt. Unlike other pods, which sometimes will have a total minimum before they pay you a commission or before they ship out the orders. They also have, and this is noted and verified by third-party reports and whatnot, is that they do have fast shipping times for the payouts. So the payout times can be quite fast. There is a program, which we'll get into after we set up Tara's account, called the TeeChip VIP program. So that's for people that are selling more than 100 shirts per month. It gives you added advantages like 1 hour payouts. So you can get a payout within an hour of a campaign ending. That's incredible. And most of them have a 5-day delay after the campaign ends before they pay you, or they'll have it every 2 weeks or once a month, or over a certain dollar amount, like fan print, for example. If it's over $250, you can request a payout. These guys have 1 hour payouts after the campaign ends if you're a TeeChip VIP member. So without further ado, I'm going to go grab Tara real quick. We're going to open up an account. If you already have an account, you can click on Start a Campaign, but we don't show my account, so let's do this. So sign in. We're going to say Register. And then I'm going to grab Tara. She's going to set up a new account. So Shawn, I'll let you chat with people for a second while I grab Tara. I'll be right back.
Sure. Let's chat. So guys, any questions so far as far as the issues with TeeChip or any of the other pods we've talked about, or merch? Well, Jacob screamed for his wife apparently. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff with TeeChip, and while Jacob's gone, I think a really important part is to be able to capture those pixels from Facebook. Facebook is really, when you can capture a pixel on Facebook, is really the most important way that you can advertise. I'm not sure. I haven't looked into TeeChip as far as how the pixels work. If it's only if somebody's making a purchase that you can pixelate them. But once you can use your own pixel with a pod as much or as little as they're going to allow, then you can send them ads to be going to your other pods, to go to specific things. Once you know a buyer is good for for that, then it's really as good as gold, because they're going to be buying. And then you can promote really anything you want to them. The Facebook advertising, Facebook pixels is the best way. I mean, it's as good as having their email address. So when you try to do, run ads, you can run ads to them for, up to an additional 6 months. So, the pixel is very important.
All right, Shawn Mayo, we're back.
Awesome. Done yelling at your wife?
Tara.
Hello.
Hi.
All right, so guys, what we like to do every week is there's a big question around how long does it take to get set up on another platform. If you're on Merch by Amazon, there's a waiting period, which is an unknown period of time. So a question I like to ask, Tara has applied for Merch by Amazon a few weeks ago. I think it's 14 weeks ago.
Yep.
So Tara, are you on Merch by Amazon yet?
No.
Did you check?
I check 3 times a week. I checked a couple hours ago, and I'm not in.
All right, still not in?
No.
But you're hopeful, right?
Oh, I'm hopeful.
I think you'll get in. We'll see.
It'll happen.
All right, so here's what we do. We're going to set one up, Tara,
Yep.
at themelanake.com.
Yep.
It looks like it already do that. And you'll make a password. So you put in your email address, a password. Okay. Password again. So this is signing up for TeeChip.
Okay.
Have you sold custom merchandise before?
Yes.
Yes, I've done this a few times. I'm a high volume seller.
No, just a few times.
A few times. Okay.
Yeah.
So you click on sign up.
Oh, bend over. Bend down. Yep.
All right, we'll save that. Okay, boom. So Tara now has a TeeChip account. That's how long it takes. So you guys are watching live, so you can see that didn't take a long time. You just put in your email address and then your password, confirm a password, and boom, you got an account. So
I don't have merch though. Merch by Amazon, I mean.
Not yet. So let's start a campaign for Tara here. We're going to click on Start Campaign, which is the orange button at the top. Now, the way TeeChip works is they have you pick one item to get it kicked off, and then after you've selected the item and the color, then you can choose more colors and you upload your design. So, okay, so we'll pick a hoodie.
Yep.
And before we do that, I just want to go through the different products. So they have 18 different products, and they're comprised of T-shirts. I mean, you can see them on the screen here, but they got T-shirts. They have Fruit of the Loom T-shirt, American Apparel T-shirt. Interestingly enough, because American Apparel has gone out of business, apparently they still have stock.
There you go.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Or they don't, and they're just letting you put one on because they haven't updated their website. We'll find out. V-neck shirts, relaxed fit shirts, American Apparel ladies shirts. They have Bella Cabas, which is a popular flowy tank. They have youth T-shirts, Gildan sleeveless T-shirts. They have tank tops. Now, some of the other sites have multiple types of tank tops, so it's a unisex tank top as opposed to men's, women's, and unisex and youth. That's warm in here, right?
It's really hot in here.
They have mugs. The mugs are 11 ounces. Some companies have 11 ounces and 15 ounces. Some of them have thermal mugs. TeeChip's just got the regular 11-ounce mug. It's pretty standard for sublimation. They have phone cases here. Long sleeve T-shirts, Gildan sweatshirts, Gildan zip-up hoodies, and they have posters. They have 3 different sizes of posters.
Nice.
Yeah, some of them have just one size posters. Some of them have more than 6 or 7. So they've got the 11 by 17 poster, 16 by 24, and 24 by 36. So Tara, you said you want a hoodie, but you didn't say do you want a zip-up hoodie or do you want a pullover hoodie?
I would actually prefer the pullover. You know why?
Why is that?
We're almost out of summer. So I'm aiming to serve those who are heading into fall and getting their next season attire.
There you go. All right, so you pick the item first, which is kind of weird because you can only pick one item. And then you pick whatever color you want. So what color of hoodie do you want?
Oh, man. I don't know. What design are we putting on there?
That's the tricky part. You don't know until after.
Let's do black for now.
Okay, so we're going to do a dark, black.
Sure, yep.
Okay, add product. Now, something that they don't mention here, but they do mention on that first page, and I didn't mention it, is you can have up to 8 different designs of each type. And they have standard print detail and then a reduced print detail area. So they have 2 different kinds. So now that you have the item and you have at least one color, it allows you to upload a design, which is kind of funny because normally it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Do you want to do, let's just think here. Something that looks good on a dark t-shirt. Okay, so we'll do this one. Okay. It's a do the math. It's like a rocket ship design.
Cool. I like
From
that.
Design Pickle. That's what I use for most of the designs.
Show us all your shirts.
Oh, here's some designs from Design Pickle here. I'm not going to show you the designs, but you can see this one. All right, so this is something interesting. Now, TeeChip is really competitive on their pricing. If you choose only one color, like let's say we're on a black shirt, so we want to use just white ink, for example, this will give us the best pricing on TeeChip. One color of ink. Select the ink colors for your design. However, if you click on full color, it goes direct to garment, and then you can do up to 8 different colors as a different price, and you can have all the colors, which is a different price. And so, Shawn, do you want to see just one color just to see how crazy the pricing gets here?
Yeah, I want to see one color, yeah, definitely.
Okay, so we're going to do just white because it's on a black shirt, and we'll say on all the products, and we'll save that. So now what it's going to do is it's going to show us that design, which looks pretty good.
Nice design.
Yeah, so that's a nice design pickle thing. Do the math. I was thinking about the Falcon 9 heavy launch rocket. It's kind of a popular thing, and they're constantly launching things. You know this in the Florida area. People get excited about space exploration. I figure
I've seen a Falcon 9 launch before.
Live?
Yeah.
You've seen one live?
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing,
Shawn.
Shawn.
Space Center.
That's really cool. Okay, and did the one that you saw, did it work or did it blow up or what?
No, the only one that blew up was they were testing it the night before, and that's when that the SpaceX one blew up. But we actually the last one we've seen launched from the one right next to it, and you could see all the you know, they have you always see like 4 towers around it. Those are lightning towers, so it pulls the lightning. If any lightning might hit, it would pull it away from hitting the rocket. So those are just to attract lightning all the way around it.
There you go. You don't want to have lightning hit your rocket ship.
Oh,
That would suck.
Yeah.
All right, good.
So it was the one that we see the one right next to it. Is the whole point.
Perfect. And so you're an enthusiast of the rockets. So do the math with the rocket ship. Do you think that would appeal to people that like the rockets?
Yeah, maybe. Kelly, come look at this.
He's bringing in Kelly.
Oh, Kelly will know.
Kelly loves the space and rockets.
Space and shuttles and yeah.
All right, so all the black is just staying. Will just be like.
It's just gonna be black, yeah. So when we pick the ink color for this, we just pick one color. So we only have one color of ink. It's gonna be white only. So everything else is just gonna be either not there or whatever the color of the shirt is behind it.
Right.
So I can't see your screen, but what does Kelly think?
She's I don't know. She might have went outside, so.
Oh, that's okay. She can go and look at the link after. I can post it on the group if you want. So, so basically, things that you can do here, you can resize it. You can make it bigger than the print area. This light colored box shows you the print area. So right now I'm out of the print area. If I click on the center button, it centers the image. You can resize it. You can put it up and down. So if you want to do like a little pocket symbol, oops. I got it too small
You
there.
think of this design.
Let me make it a bit bigger here. Hold on. I worked it a little bit.
That's funny.
Rocket.
I know.
So it's a rocket ship with numbers, says do the math. What do you think, Kelly?
It's hilarious. I like it.
It's a win?
I'd rock it.
Yeah? All right. All right, so so with TeeChip, you can resize it anywhere you want. You can hit the center button. It'll center it for you. If you have it oversized, it will allow you to do it usually. I'm not sure what's happening here. Somehow I stretched my image. Anyways, you can center it here. It puts it in the center. I like to move it up a bit because I just like it to be a bit higher. And what you can do is if you click next to the colors here, it doesn't show you this, but if you click here, it gives you more colors. So if I want to see that on navy, I want to see that on purple.
Pink.
We can see it on pink, right? If I save it then I can see that design. And even though the design has black in it, we've only chosen white ink. So I'm not really sure exactly how that's going to come out. But you can see it on purple, looks all right. Looks okay on the black for sure. The blue, I'm going to take off pink because it's got black around here on the design, but you can't see that because they're only printing with white ink.
Yep, that's good.
And you don't want white on white. This doesn't make too much sense.
That's correct.
I'm not really sure how they're going to print it with one color. So here's a recommendation. If you choose just one color ink, I recommend doing a monocolor design. So don't put up a multicolored design and then ask them to print it in one color, because then your buyers are going to probably not like that. But we're going to take a risk here. Now, if I hit next, it's going to go into setting goals and pricing and then the description. But what I can do from here is I can click on add new products, and then I get access to the products again. So you can do multiple products, and you can do up to 8 of each type of print area. So standard 8 print area standard and 8 reduced print area. So you might want to see this on a big poster. So let's do a poster. Again, let's do black. Okay. And then, oops.
That'd be cool.
We're going to upload our design. It should be the same design. I don't know why it's asking for a different design. It was do the math, right?
Yep.
That one there. All right, so you can upload a design. This is probably the difference between the reduced print area and the regular print area, although I skewed my design a bit. So yeah, it's just showing the ink option. I'm not sure why it's a pink background. Bit of a mystery here, but that's fine. That's just the way it is. It's decided it's a pink background. So TeeChip has a little bit of quirks, okay? I will tell you though, if you're doing a lot of shirts, it gets pretty fast. You can have a border or no border. So you want to have a border on this?
I like the border, yeah.
Okay, we'll do a border. and you can do portrait or landscape. So landscape or portrait, you have those options. So depending on the item that you pick, you can have different things. Again, if I click here and I look at black, it should really be a black background, but it's pink.
It's bizarre.
That is a little bit weird. I know that our hoodie was pink. If I go blue, okay.
Oh, there we go.
So it's just, it's a bit of a quirk there because we erased pink. It took the pink out and then maybe just carried over. So
That's fine.
looks like it's corrected itself. It's got a black background. That's what you'd expect. I don't know if Kelly's still here. Kelly, what do you think? Does that look good on a poster?
She's right here.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Oh,
like
it's even
it.
better as a poster. That's
even
cool.
better. Okay, I did kind of squish it on the shirt, so that's probably my issue here.
That's fine.
There we go. That's better. Okay, so so we've got a poster. We have the hoodie. We can add other products. You want to put maybe, I don't know, at summertime, maybe a Bella Flowy tank.
Sure.
Okay. We'll do black again. All right, so you can see it's there. And you do have a front and back. So not all of the platforms allow you to print on the front and the back, or the front or the back. Here, they do allow you to do front and back, so you can have the front and the back at the same time. This is something that was just added to Rage On just this week, like yesterday. So brand new thing with Rage On if you're following along on all the different pods. Anyway, so we'll hit next, and it will have all the different products that you have. So you can have up to, theoretically, you could have 16 of the 18 products if you have a limited number of colors in each. And what you do here is you have your sale price, the expected number of sales, and the expected amount of profit. Now, what I like to do personally is I want to see how much shirt money I'm going to get for each one. So I like to just go here, clear it out, and do one. There is no effect on the total price. If you do more expected sales or less, it doesn't affect the actual profit that you get. Although if you sell in volume, you do make a little bit more profit. It doesn't show you in the calculation, which is kind of weird. Why have a calculator if I'm not going to show that? So, Shawn, you've seen other pods because we've been doing this. This is like our 12th or 4th. I think it's our 12th pod here. Check out the base price on this. So maybe let's add a T-shirt. Let's go back. Big products.
So I'm gonna check out Jacob because I'm working upstairs right now.
Okay.
So
Tara's checking out, even though we're not done her shirt.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. All right.
Good
Good luck.
luck.
See you later.
Yeah.
Tara's left the room here. So I put in a shirt just for interest's sake here. The base price on a Fruit of the Loom tee here is why is it showing that?
$8.05.
Yeah, $8.35. Although if you have more, it goes down.
Right.
All right, so it actually does go down, and it shows you that. So you can get your base price down to $4 each, which is really low. So the more you sell, the cheaper it gets. And these will, the calculator doesn't determine the actual money you get. It just shows you how much the base cost would be if you sold this number. So it encourages you to sell more. So if I sold just one of this t-shirt, then my base cost for this is $8.35 base cost, right? So I could sell a shirt for $9 and still make money, I believe. Okay, so it has a minimum of $13. So the minimum is $13. So that's going to give me a profit of $4.32, which is more than you would get on Merch by Amazon, more than you would get on many of the other platforms. Gear Bubble, I think Gear Bubble is the best for one shirt. They go all the way down to thinking $5.50 or $5.95, something like that. But if I were to sell 100 shirts, then my base cost goes down to $4.06. So it really does go lower based on how many you do. And in this case, it may be because it's a single color. Maybe that's the reason. So with a single color, they're going to set up a screen print. And so with higher volume on a screen print, it gets way cheaper. So anyways, it's kind of interesting. They do have the profit analyzer, the calculator here. And they show you that you set the pricing before you do the description and everything. So something like Redbubble, which is quite popular outside of Merch by Amazon, it allows you to set a percentage. These guys let you set the price, although they do have a minimum threshold. Some of the other ones let you sell a percentage. Some of them have fixed pricing. Just thinking like TeePublic, for example, that we've done. They have fixed pricing. But just something to be interesting if you haven't listed on the platform before. You can set your price, and it does show you the base cost and then the profit you're going to get. And you can adjust this amount to whatever you want. So if you do 1,000, I wonder if it goes even more. Yeah, so if you do 1,000 shirts, $3.38, so your profit's going to go up even higher on a per shirt basis. So they do encourage you to make more sales. The more sales you make per campaign, the more money you make. All right, so if you hit next, then it goes into the title description area. So you have a campaign title. Now this is a rocket, do the math, right? So we would say do the math, rocket science. And description, put lunches in the numbers, do the math for a great shuttle launch. So you can use whatever keywords you want here. I like to do different keywords for different pods, especially if I'm using the same design across multiple pods. Again, you have a description area here. You can do up to 3,000 characters in the description, and up in the title, you can do up to 50 characters. So they have these little light bulbs next to kind of help you out with that. So you can see you can do 50 characters for the title. You can do up to 3,000 for the description, and they do have a character count. So as I type in here, I can see how many characters it's getting. It's kind of a nice little convenience. Some of the other sites give you a character limit. They don't tell you how many characters there are, so you have to open up a separate window and type in the characters. So as a seller, I think this is one of the easiest sites to list as a seller. I know we're kind of walking you through it, so it's taking a bit longer. But when you're doing it at full speed, this is a fast platform for sure. The campaigns can go up to 25 days maximum, and it actually tells you the day that the campaign would end, as well as the expected shipping date. So this would ship between August 31st and September 4th. Now, if you have a time-sensitive event, like for example, the solar eclipse coming up, and it is on, what is that, August 21st, right? Then you might want to roll this back. Let's say if you wanted people to get the rocket shirt the day before the solar eclipse, to maybe 10 days. Something to think about. So if I look here, I can see it would end on the 12th, and it would be shipped between the 16th and August the 20th. And this is showing you for domestic orders. International orders, they add extra time, and it depends on where it's going, so they don't show you that. But domestic orders, those are the shipping times. You can go all the way down to 1. Some of the other pods that have a campaign date don't allow you to go all the way to 1 without going back into the menu. So Teespring is a notable example. I think they have a minimum of 3 days. But TeeChip allows you to go all the way back to 1. And then you're going to have a campaign URL. And this is an individual URL that you get to make up your own. And it will, you can use that to drive traffic to your listing or to your design. So campaign URL, Shawn, what do you think? Do the math?
Yeah, definitely.
Right, so it is a URL, so you're not going to have special characters, you're not going to have spaces, there's no hashes. If I do a space, it's going to give me no alphanumeric characters and no dashes. So do the math, and if it's not available, it'll tell you, but if it is available, it lets you go on. And then you have an auto restart campaign. So right now we just set this for a 1-day campaign. If we don't click this auto restart campaign, then it'll only go for 1 day and then it'll end forever. So I always recommend the auto restart campaign. You can make it private. So for example, if you want to have a link that you can send to somebody like a business or something where they reorder their own shirt, you might want to make a private campaign. But for the purpose of their show here, I'm going to go public. And show back by default. So if you have a front and a back, you might want to show the back by default before you show the front. In this case, it's a one-side front shirt, so I'm not going to show the back, so I'll leave that unchecked. And then I certify that I own the content, so it's not infringing any trademark or other copy infringement. All right, so there's that, and then you hit next, and it makes the listing. It launches your campaign, and it's also going to show you what it looks like. And it'll do it in the order that we did it. So, I'm sorry, in alphabetical order here. So it's going to have the poster, it'll have the hoodie, it'll have the Bella Flow tank, and then the Fruit of the Loom t-shirt. And the prices you can see here, they're really reasonable. Like a t-shirt for $13, that's pretty amazing. Not a lot of pods even let you do that. Although Gear Bubble, I think Gear Bubble goes even lower on a single shirt. So I'm actually liking Gear Bubble for lots of different reasons. One of my
You can
favorites.
go down low on merch.
Yeah, so merch by Amazon, you can go lower. So you can have a lower price, but you're only going to make like 1 penny or $2 or whatever. Here at $13, you're still making almost $5 profit, right?
Yeah.
So you can go lower on other platforms like merch by Amazon, but you're not going to make any money doing it. So I guess there's that trade-off, right? At least with this one, even at the minimum pricing, which is $13 on this particular product, you're still making a decent income on it. So it encourages you to share. Now, not sure why it's taking so long to load that, but it is loaded. So what we can do now is if we want to go back to our campaigns, you can click on campaigns and it'll show the shirt that you just put up here. So again, this is a brand new account we just set up for Tara during the call. And so you can go in and you can see it's an active status. So it's currently running. It started today and it runs till tomorrow and then it automatically renews. You'll be able to see the numbers sold and the profit that you've made total, the URL that you have. You click on the URL, it takes you to the listing. Concerns me that it's loading so long here, but it shows you how much time there is left in the campaign. So with campaigns, if you're not familiar, it's going to have a countdown from wherever you are during the campaign until the end of the campaign. When it ends, in this case, it's going to reset. If you don't have it set to reset, then it's over. And so this kind of is designed to encourage people to buy when they see it because they don't want to let the campaign run out. Let's see if we do another one here. There's a size chart here, so you can see the different items. And depending on the item that you have, it'll show you different sizes. So for the Fruit of the Loom t-shirt, it goes all the way up to 6X. That's one of the largest sizes that we've seen on any of them. Like we saw up to 5XL on one of the other ones, but 6XL is actually quite good. So on TeeChip, it goes quite large. And then you have all the way down to small. This is for the adult Fruit of the Loom unisex shirt. And it tells you the exact sizes in inches and in centimeters. Not sure why those images aren't loading as quickly as you would expect them to load. Maybe because it's a brand new listing, so it's probably still making it. But anyways, if we go back to campaigns, down here, there is a manage button, a stats button, and a duplicate. So if you want to make a duplicate campaign, you can do that. Let's duplicate this campaign. So now we have the same thing set up here, but maybe instead of these colors, maybe we want to change it. So maybe we're going to add a midnight color instead of black. We'll save that. And then in the hoodie, instead of purple, maybe we want red. We'll do green and dark chocolate. And then the poster, instead of black, maybe we want to have charcoal gray poster. All right, and then maybe we want to add another product as well. So maybe we want to have a mug, and we'll have a black mug. Notice they have a black mug with a printable black surface, and then a white mug with the color surface on it. So you do have the choice of the base. The inside part of the mug can be black or white. Usually it's just white, but you'd have a black or white here. So we'll do a black mug with a black inside mug. That would probably look nice with this design. It's going to ask us to upload the design again. A little unconventional here to upload it again, but for some reason it's asking us to do that, so that's fine. Now this is a duplicate campaign, so instead of having to go through and pick all those things originally, we can see them all here. Looks kind of nice on a black mug. There we go. And then we'll do next, and maybe for the pricing on these other colors, maybe we're gonna do everything $2 less. So I'll do 17 here, maybe I'll do 26. I'll do a $13 poster, a mug, we'll do 18. Right, so you can change your pricing, you can change the expected number of sales on it. Again, I like to just kind of see what my profit is on one unit. So it'll update when you click off of it. You go to next, and then it has a duplicate, so you already have these things. Maybe I'm gonna put the number 2 next to it, and then a different description in case I want to cross-test, right? Maybe I want to have different descriptions. Okay, launches come and go, but when you do the math right, they go out of this world. Out of this world, sure. All right, so you can have different campaign launches. Maybe we're gonna have 1 week, for example. This URL is already in use, but we can put a 2 next to it, then it's allowed. So you can see how it gives you the restriction if it's already in use, it tells you that. You make a different one and it allows you to do it. We're gonna auto restart this campaign as well. Again, it's duplicate, so it's the same as it was before, and then you always have to certify that you own the copyright, trademark, and publicity rights, and it's not owned by a third party. There's no violations or infringements. So we'll click next, and then when we go back to campaigns, we're now gonna have 2 campaigns. So it's a pretty fast way to make multiple campaigns, different pricing, different names, different descriptions. It's kind of a nice way to use one design, but market it in more than one way, right? So let's say you're marketing on Facebook and you're also marketing on Pinterest. You might want to have a different product or a different description, or you might be adjusting for SEO and running both of them side by side, seeing which one goes best. There's all kinds of different ways to do it. All right, so Shawn, that's the basics. The
That
TeeChip.
is the basics.
Are you ready to get into the crazy part of TeeChip?
Yeah, let's talk about crazy.
Okay, let's get crazy, guys. So if you go into manage, right here, the gear, there's a duplicate, there's stats, and there's manage. If you go into manage, you can go and they have analytics, so you can put in your Facebook pixel, which we've seen in other pods, custom audience, so the Facebook custom audience ID. You could have a perfect audience ID. I'm not sure, have you used perfect audience before, Shawn, for targeting?
No.
Okay, so I opened up a tab here. Perfect audience is special software that's used to drive traffic to a campaign. So you can do it through a website, a WordPress website. You can do it through iOS or Android. So you can do it on mobile apps. You create an audience that you want. You drop this code into it. You build the campaign details, however much you want to spend on it, and it basically advertises throughout its advertising network. So it's a way to reach users on mobile devices, across their websites, across different blogs. It's kind of like Google AdWords, but to a different set of companies, right? Different places, right? So you can see it'll place a banner ad, for example, on a website. It can have the little links down and below in mobile apps. You can have like full screen mobile app ads. This is kind of a neat way to drive additional traffic to your site. And when you're using Perfect Audience, you can use your Perfect Audience tracking number, not only see the results on Perfect Audience, but then bring it back and put that in the website ID for Perfect Audience here. And so that's what it is. It's just a different way to drive traffic to your site and to track the traffic that you're seeing. Then there's Google Analytics. So if you're familiar with Google Analytics or Google AdWords, you put your tracking code here for Google Analytics ID. And all of these have links directly to those places. So if you're not familiar with them, you can click on this. It'll open up another window. Search with Google Analytics, how to use it, how to make it up, all that kind of information. It's kind of hot linked straight to it, which is kind of nice. But here's the deeper information. Right now we're in a campaign, so I'll just remind people how we got there. We went to campaigns, we looked at one of the shirts that we have, we clicked on manage. Inside manage, if you go to the very bottom to upsells, this is where you add an upsell. So you click on an upsell. Upsells increase your profit by an average of 5 to 10%. Add an upsell to take advantage of this free profit boost, okay? So we're going to click on add an upsell, and we're going to pick one of the designs that we have. Right now we're on do the math, which is the first shirt that we did. We have the same design but on different products here. So maybe we want to upsell, and maybe we want to upsell them to the mug. Okay, so you're going to go and you're going to buy the shirt, and then you're going to see the upsell when you go to checkout for the mug. And let's say we can give them a discount. We could say 5%, for example. And then the type. So we can either email them the upsell, or we can have a pop-up. So I'm going to say modal. That's going to give us a little pop-up when they go to buy it. It'll pop it up. And we could say, I don't know, matching mug. Right? And then we could say, All right, maybe this is not the best wording here, but you can put in a different title and a different description specifically for the upsell item that you have. So you can choose from a campaign, and then on that campaign, it gives you access to all the products. So we could have chosen any of those products. And then if we have a specific multiple colors, we can choose the colors. We can have a discount, so it can be whatever you want. How we want it to pop up. So in this case, it's modal. It's going to pop up a little window. But we could have chosen email if we wanted to. And then you have the title, matching mug. Perfect complement to this item is the matching mug. Okay, and you add the upsell. And that is now going to add that upsell to the item. And you can see all your upsells here as well. You can also go back and change them. So you click on edit. You'll be able to change it however you want. I suppose you could do a double upsell. So you could do an upsell again. And maybe we'll do the mug. Well, actually, you know what? Maybe we'll do the poster. We'll give them no discount. And we'll send them an email. All right, so now we have a matching poster here. We can add that upsell as well. Please select a discount amount. Okay, so you do have to have a discount amount. We'll say 10%, because we're making a lot of money on the poster. It's pretty profitable, so that's good. Discount is too large. Maximum is $3. Okay, so this is how many dollars rather than a percentage. All right, and then once it's active, that first one that we did, the mug, is active already. And then it'll show up. It's not active until it is. And then once it's set up, it'll say active as well. So if I hit refresh, oops, still not active. Once it's set up, then it'll show active. We go back to my campaigns. Again, I can still see these items here. If I go to manage, I can see the upsells for that item are here as well. All right, so that's one thing that's interesting about TeeChip is that you can do upsells. Upsells are available now on FanPrint. I think you can do them on some other items, on other pods, but it's pretty rare. Upsells are a little bit rare. The other thing, I'm going to say a different thing that you can do is coupons. So I can click on coupons, and this is something that is applied to the end of a URL. So coupons allow you to offer some special incentives to your customers. After creating a coupon, simply append it to the end of the URL. And they give you an example here. So this is your URL with your campaign. You're going to append it here with a little question mark coupon, so QP equals. Redeemed coupons are subtracted from the profit of the campaign. This is something that you should note as a seller. If the campaign does not have enough profit to cover the coupon is not applied. So make sure that when you're adding a coupon, there's enough profit in the campaign to allow the coupon to be discounted. Because if it's more, then it's not going to be applied and your customers are going to be furious. So let's say we add a coupon here. The coupon code is going to be Shawn Mayo. You add the Shawn Mayo and you're going to get free shipping anywhere in the US, which is worth $3.99. Expiration, you can do never, or you can do a specific date range. So you can pick whatever date you want. So right now it's the 2nd. We could say up until next week, you could use that coupon code. Any restrictions? So here you would type in any of the URLs or the items that you don't want to be included. But we're going to say it's on everything. So if you type in Shawn Mayo as a coupon code, then you're going to receive free shipping in the US. So that's kind of neat. And you can have lots and lots of different coupon codes. It also tells you how many conversions you have. So you can tell how many people are using that coupon code. Again, something that's not available on all the different pods. Another interesting thing about TeeChip, and again, TeeChip has these little nuances, it's just these little things that you see, is sub-accounts. So on a sub-account, you can add an email address and invite them to be a sub-account. So I'm going to add... I'm not going to add one, but you would type in the email address here. And then, as I mentioned earlier in the beginning of the call, you have modify a campaign settings, download emails, restart or start a campaign, view sales stats, or add or modify coupons. And each of these are a toggle. So if you want to have access to all those things, make sure they're set to green. You'd send the invite, and then the sub account, they would be able to log in. They would set up an account with TeeChip, and then when they log in, they have access to your account with whatever items you've given them access to. So this is fantastic if you want to have somebody tracking your stats, or if you want to have somebody tracking the campaigns, or downloading the emails and maybe using those for Facebook Pixel accounts, or changing the coupons, or just updating the sales stats, or any of these different things. Modifying a campaign, so maybe changing the keywords, for example. So if you wanted to maybe upload all your images and then have somebody go do all the keywording afterwards, then you could have one person uploading all the images and then have somebody else with just modified campaign settings, and they could go change all the keyword settings afterwards. You just hit an invite, and then it sends that email request to that person. They are attached to your account, and Bob's your uncle. Other interesting things for the settings, the payouts are available in 3 different ways. So right now it's only asking me for PayPal, but you also have 2 other options. You could do PayPal, and once you have a verified PayPal email, then the payout options are PayPal, wiring, or Payoneer. So you can do Payoneer, wires, or PayPal. Those are the 3 options, but you do have to set it up with a PayPal verified email before you get paid. Your social accounts. So if you want to log into TeeChip using your Facebook or Google login credentials, you can do that. You just link it to your account, and then you can log in without having to type in the login and password. That's kind of interesting. Campaign settings. You can set the time zone for your campaigns. So depending on where in the world you are. I'm in the Eastern time zone. You're in Eastern time zone too, right, Shawn?
I am in the Eastern time zone, yep. All of Florida.
Yeah. I like to hide when the campaign ended, because I don't want people to know when it ended if there's a design that's showing that's over. And then you have the option to hide the Pinterest button on campaigns. So some people are very sensitive about having Pinterest linked to their campaigns. Some people don't care. Some people don't want them linked, so you can hide it if it is linked. Any other interesting things about TeeChip? Okay, so just on the surface, that's a lot of information. We're an hour and 15 minutes in. But I want to show you guys even more so you can benefit even more from TeeChip. There is a TeeChip area here. Check this out, Mastermind. Mastermind.tchip.com. And mastermind.tchip.com gives you all kinds of extra stuff so you can become a TeeChip mastermind. So you want to become a top seller, you can go check out all the stuff here. So they have information about finding your niche, identifying an audience, diving into the niche, niche to ideas, ideas to designs, design tips. So they tell you the difference between vector designs and raster designs, hiring designers, intellectual property guidelines. You know, this is all really good information. Advertising. So just like the other platforms, they want to encourage you to make lots of sales. With TeeChip, they have this whole mastermind.tchip.com area. Where they got social media, Facebook advertising, Facebook pixels, Facebook conversion events, advertising structure, PPE versus WC versus CTW, Facebook targeting, scaling up, scaling beyond, selling posters, and then advanced, okay? So advanced, they have management tools, analytics tools, marketing tools, how the pricing works. They go into details about how your profit is calculated based on the base cost. They talk about processing fees. So there's a processing fee of 7% that's charged in the difference between the base cost and the total revenue. So basically that's what they're taking. They're taking 7%. They say it's the industry's lowest. I think there are lower base costs, but it's very low, especially if you do volume. They do direct to garment, and they do screen printing. And they do screen printing up to 8 colors, which is unusual because a lot of places doing multicolor screens, they'll do 4 colors or 6 colors. 8 color screen printing is actually really good. So if you're doing volume, you're going to get a good print. And then they have direct to garment, where the price doesn't really change too much because it's pretty consistent. But the screen prints really starts to drop off as you do more quantity. So they show you that here. And we saw that in the pricing module. So what we're going to do, Shawn, is I'm going to drop this into the chat. Mastermind.tchip.com. You don't even have to be logged in to get to this, so we should probably put this on your Facebook channel as well.
Right. We will.
I'm just getting over to the chat here. Boom. Mastermind.tchip.com. So TeeChip is one of the print-on-demand platforms mentioned in the book. There's a book called, what's the book called? Merch?
World of Print on Demand. I mean,
Merch.
you wrote it, and you should know the name, right?
I know, it's just testing you. So it's Merch in the World of Print on Demand. It's a book that I wrote. TeeChip is one of the print-on-demand platforms in the book. In the book itself, it covers more than 35 different platforms. It also covers lots of ways to advertise them, how you can automate the whole process, how to create designs, different ways to create designs, different ways to connect with other people in the community, like Shawn Mayo, for example, different resources that you can use, including additional books or courses that you can look at, YouTube channels. There's all kinds of resources in the book, Merch in the World of Print on Demand. I'm totally biased because I wrote the book. I think it's great. Shawn Mayo likes the book. He has a link that he can put in there. And I don't know, is there anything else that we should talk about here with the TeeChip?
No, I think that about covers it. Don't
Let's
forget
check
to
the-
register. What?
Let's check the Q&A. Do you know if you can load from iPad? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Do you have an iPad handy? I've got an iPad.
I have not tried that. I think Google.
I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna say I don't recommend it, but you probably could. Just the way it's laid out, it probably, maybe. The honest answer is I don't know. On Google, the first site it showing TeeChip.
That's when we were in Alexa.
Oh yeah, that's right. So we went through Alexa. That was pretty interesting, actually. I like that extra Alexa that we do. So there's no other Q&As. There's no other comments in the chat, even though this is a live call, guys.
Right. So
I love the live calls. I like to ask
guys,
questions.
click on the link and register for next week. We will be talking about whatever Jacob tells me to talk about, which is what?
Cafe Press.
Cafe Press. We're going to be talking about Cafe Press, which is one of the oldest of those type of sites.
It's more than 10 years old.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan, but we'll talk about it anyway. And don't forget to join me.
Tomorrow.
The echo. Don't forget to join me tomorrow. I'm going to have Fernando on. He's been on one of these before when I wasn't available. I talked to Jacob about
Fan print.
fan print. Right, he's really does really well with fan print and a lot of other print on demand type of things, and Amazon custom, and so he's not just printing shirts, and he's kind of more of an expert on maybe the business side and growing your business using print on demand instead of talking about designing shirts and maybe some of the things we talk about. So it'll be, I think, a very interesting talk with him. And I'll post that link in the chat as well. And I'll shoot you guys out an email with the replay and the links and all that. So if you don't get to register for those, tomorrow at the same time, 8 o'clock. And then next Wednesday, of course, at 8 o'clock, we'll see you then.
Oh, Carlinda asks, what's our favorite pod, Shawn?
What is my favorite pod other than Merch by Amazon? That is, I'm drawing a blank. What is it? What's your favorite, Jacob? And we'll get to me.
So Merch by Amazon I like for, obviously, because it makes the most sales in general, because it has a lot of traffic. If you're talking about non-Merch by Amazon pods, I really like Redbubble. I like the way it allows you to upload lots of products simultaneously, so it's kind of nice. And it does get you a lot of extra traffic. So it's definitely my #2 bestseller after Merch by Amazon. Although last month it outsold Merch by Amazon. I also like different pods for different reasons. There was a portion of the summertime where I was just saying fan print. Fan print's the best. I love it. Has the highest commissions. Gives you access to trademark designs. They have great seller support. They're ramping up really fast, but they've had a bunch of changes recently, so I'm not sure if it's my favorite anymore. They've started to really switch up their management. They've changed a lot, so I'm not sure about it, but it's still a great pod. In terms of mobile app use, I really like the Rajon app. I don't know, Shawn and I mentioned this a few times. The Rajon mobile app, if you don't have it, you should download it. You should be on Rajon because they have a great site. But this mobile app has got to be the easiest way to upload stuff on your mobile phone.
Rajon is awesome.
It's really
easy. Got the teenies now. It's so easy. You know, you upload an image, you can oversize it, you can do all over printing. You know, you can go bigger than the print area. You can do it on your app. There's a lot of action going on. You know, it's more like a social network, so people are liking your stuff. You can like other people's stuff.
It's very active.
Followers. You know, there's like a feed of all the new and best stuff. I mean, you know, there's a ton of like cool stuff going on there. So it's definitely, you know, it's definitely one of those things that I really like. I haven't sold anything yet there, but I haven't put a whole lot of time into it. I've got a whole like set of designs that I think are going to do really well for the all-over print. I just haven't gotten around to putting them all on there. My wife's probably going to do that because she's like all over the.
Like Rajon's awesome for a mobile app. It's really good.
Right. So, you know, I mean, they're really highly, you know, they're high ranked on Alexa or low ranked or whatever. You know, so there's a ton of people going there. I'm sure they're getting lots of sales. I just haven't put a whole lot of effort into it. The ones that I have uploaded have gotten a lot going on with it.
For sublimation or for the all-over prints, they're the #1 seller of all-over prints in the world. In terms of linking a print-on-demand platform directly to Amazon, I like GearBubble. My sort of side into Seller Central through pods, I use Printful through Shopify. That works for me. I like it. But I think if you're just getting into it new and you have a lot of designs already, I really think that going in through GearBubble is really one of the easiest and fastest ways to do it right now. And you can actually, if you've got your designs on GearBubble already, you can link into Amazon, into eBay, and then straight into Shopify, and then wherever Shopify links to as well, which is all over the place. So I like GearBubble for that. I also like they have really low pricing, just like TeeChip. I like TeeChip for the low pricing. But as we mentioned at the warning at the beginning, it's a little bit dicey. Like, I don't know if I trust TeeChip as much as I trust the other platforms. But as a seller, it's easy to use. It's got a great clean layout. Other things, if I'm doing like unusual items like skateboards and stuff, I like to use Zazzle rather than Cafe Press. We're going to do Cafe Press next week. I'll show you why I don't like it as much, but it is a gigantic platform and it gets tons of traffic. But it's a little bit complicated for users. So it's going to be probably a long call next week, just as a heads up. It'll probably be longer than today. Today's probably it's our second shortest call ever. I think it's at an hour and a half here. So TeeChip's really straightforward. Shawn, how can you increase your upload speeds on your merch designs to Amazon and Rajon automation? You can increase your speeds by just outsourcing it. So get more than one person doing it at the same time. That's kind of the killer. There are some tools. There's a plugin for Amazon called Merch Tools that gives you a bit of a speed advantage. There's also a Speedy Uploader that can help a little bit as well. There's different plugins that allow you to kind of take existing things you have in a spreadsheet and load them faster onto the screen, but you still have to load them on the spreadsheet. So in my opinion, it's not a hugely amount faster. It's a little bit faster, but not a huge amount. Rajon automation, yeah, I mean, using the mobile app on Rajon is super fast. You just load the designs. You can load them off of like Google Shared Drive or something if you want. And then you just load them in and they're basically posted instantly. They're super fast. Shawn, do you have any other tips on how to load them faster?
I mean, like you said, there's automation. One of those two don't work anymore. I tried it a little while ago when you told me about it. I don't remember which one it was. It's whatever the one that charges like $2 or $5.
Speedy Uploader?
So I think that's the one. Yeah, it does not work with Merch by Amazon. The guys group hasn't responded in a long time. So I tried that. I mean, we've outsourced it. You know, you have to have, you know, some trust in somebody at some point. So, I've basically taken the spreadsheets that Jacob included, and we put all our pods in there, and I put it on Google Drive. So, I have basically researching ideas for designs, and we're using Trello along with the Google Drive spreadsheet. So we basically put the image and all the information, the title and descriptions, and like when it was uploaded and all that. I have somebody who goes in there and uploads them on the 500, so we can upload 10 a day. There's hundreds that are waiting to be uploaded, so every single day 10 get uploaded, and they take and just copy and paste in there for you. You gotta have somebody smart enough to know the colors they should be using, and kind of some common sense. But there's tons of those people out there.
We should do a separate episode on the virtual assistants, because you're really good at that, Shawn.
Yeah, so I have a ton. I have dozens of virtual assistants now. I've probably hired 10 in the last couple weeks. I've got some Amazon related services that we're launching, so we've really been ramping that up. But if you need a virtual assistant or any kind of help with designing, or even if you have an Amazon business, we really recommend using FreeUp. So it's FreeUp with 3 E's.ShawnMayo.com. And he'll give you, I don't know, a couple hours for free or something if you tell him that I sent you. We both work in the same. We both work in the same. We're both in the same area. I'm in Tampa. He's over in Orlando, and he's at a conference speaking this week. So, but we'll try and schedule something in the next couple of weeks so we can talk about, or outsourcing in general. So if it's merch or whatever your business is, they have pre-trained virtual assistants. So basically just tell them what you want, and they're going to find you somebody. They usually have them within seconds or minutes for me. But if not, they'll go out and recruit people. So most of their employees are from the Philippines, but we've had nothing but great success with them, and we use them for a lot of employees. So, outsourcing is really the answer to most of this. And, we made a master list. We made a master spreadsheet, basically, that has all of the data. So, if we want keywords, you're not going to have keywords on Amazon, but you may have keywords on, on GearBubble or whatever it is, or you might want 3 keywords for one, 50 keywords for another, and, and so on, or multiple descriptions. We put all that in a master list, and then we have spreadsheets for each, or tabs in our sheet, each one, where it's pulling all of that data. So we're only entering it in the master one, and then the other tab, they're pulling that data from the master tab to populate each one of the pods. So, it takes a little work and, a little effort, but, you can hire somebody to, do all that uploading for you. You got to think about what, how much your time is worth compared to what kind of a job it is. Like if you're an Amazon seller and you're packing your own boxes, that means, you're only worth minimum wage. And it's the same thing, copying and pasting titles and descriptions, into a website. Is that all you're really worth? So you need to decide, where you can make the most amount of money. And if it's designing shirts, or, coming up with ideas, or writing descriptions, or, figuring out ways to grow your business or expand into new pods, whatever it is to grow your business, it's gonna, think about that, and hiring somebody for $5 an hour to $10 an hour, so you can focus on your $100 an hour task, and that's what you should do. And it's going to help your business all the time.
Okay, Shawn, we have another question. Are the TeeChip dimensions the same as merch? No. So the TeeChip dimensions are basically whatever you want. So you can use the same ones as merch by Amazon, but they do accept many more different file types. It's kind of the crazy Wild West here. They have JPEGs, PNGs, GIFs, bitmaps, PSD, AI, ESP, SVG, PDFs, and TIFFs. And they mentioned PNG twice. I don't know why they do that, but they mention it twice in the fact. They say the file size limit is 5 megabytes. I don't believe that because I just uploaded a 8 megabyte file. So they do allow more than 5 megabytes, even though it says the limit's 5 megabytes. And it says the minimum image resolution is 300 by 300. So they're looking for higher resolution images, and they accept basically most file types for images, including the old school bitmap, BMP, as well as original PSD and AI files. I'm not sure how I feel about those, but it's a wide assortment of different types of files and dimensions that you can have. In terms of the dimensions, you can do whatever you want because they do have landscape and portrait posters, and they do have different items. So depending on the print area of each of the items that you're putting it onto, it does show you what the dimensions are. So you can scale them up or down, you can stretch them, you can actually skew them as well. So if you want to pinch them in and out, you can do that too. Anyways, if there's no other questions from the live audience, I think that's going to wrap it up here, Shawn Mayo.
Yep, definitely. All right, guys, we'll see you hopefully tomorrow and, then next week.